When you understand the universal laws, you're taking a tremendous step forward in reaching the road of success in your life. Hello again, everybody. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. And today we're going to discuss one of the universal laws, the law of correspondence. And I'm going to enlist the tremendous aid, of a gentleman named Gustavo Castaner to help explain it, and then go over a couple of points so that you'll understand exactly what it's going to take and why this is such an important law. Okay, first of all, Eli, the world is full of people who look at the mirror of life and they don't like the reflection that they see. So what do? Well, some of them pound the mirror, they try to change the mirror, they get frustrated at the mirror, and then they complain and curse at the mirror. Now that's the equivalent of trying to change the external world instead of working on themselves. Now the law of correspondence says, as within, so without. As above, so below. What this means is that your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Your outer world is a 360-degree mirror everywhere you look, and you're seeing yourself reflected back. Wherever you go, there you are. Your outer world merely expresses your thoughts, beliefs, feelings, attitudes, and so on. Therefore, if you can change your inner world, that means that you can dramatically change what's going on the outside. Now the law of correspondence says that your relationships, your health, your income, every single part of your life solely reflects on a one-to-one basis back to you the way you think and feel about it. Everything you have in your life, you've attracted to yourself because of the person that you are. Now that means that you can change all aspects of your life because you can change all the components that make up your inner world. You can't change the external world if you don't change your inner world. Now, here's the point. You're already doing it. You've already done that. When you were 2 or 3 years old, there were certain things that were important to you. Like one of them was learning to walk, another one was learning to go to the bathroom, another one was pleasing your parents. Eli, how I hunger for those days, huh? But the point is, when you're 2 or 3 years old, you have certain thoughts. Then you get a little bit older, you have different thoughts. And in your particular case, Eli, we went through what I refer to as a Star Wars phase. 10 lightsabers. 10. You needed 10 lightsabers. We went through the Star Wars phase. Right now, you're in your basketball phase. To me, that's great. It's great learning sports. It's great being competitive. There are so many different lessons that can be learned. After that, what's going to happen is you'll be in your collegiate stage. Hopefully somewhere down the road, you learn how to get along with people more on your own without the help of mom or dad. Then you'll be in your employment stage, then maybe on your leadership stage. Here's the point that I'm trying to make, is that as your inner workings change, as you change the paradigm in your head, your objectives change, your goals change. But here's another point though. In order to become successful in these endeavors, in the big endeavor, one of the things that's important is to be able to synchronize these different laws together. Let me give you an example of what it's like. Years ago, I was working and I bent down to pick up a basket full of laundry. When I did that, my back went out. What did I do? I whined, I complained, I moaned for more than a week until finally somebody said to me, hey, why don't you go and see a chiropractor? So I did. I went and saw the chiropractor. He cracked my back. And I said, so tell me, how long is it going to be before I start to feel better? He said, probably in about 12 to 20 hours. Right on the button, I started to feel better. So I asked him, I said, what's going on? He asked me, he said, were you an athlete at one time? I said, yes, I was. He said, what did you play? I said, basketball, a little baseball. He said to me, you know what? What happens is you took some hits. And what happened is your back came out of alignment. What I'm doing is I'm putting it back in alignment. Now, you're not going to do it all in one shot. It's going to take, several sessions. I had insurance, so that was fine with me. So I was going to see him first 3 or 4 times a week, then twice a week, then once a week, then I'm not seeing him at all anymore. So my point is this: when you try something new, a lot of times if you don't incorporate the different laws of the universe, you're out of alignment, which is why it's difficult to succeed. So what am I getting at here? Many people are believers in the law of attraction, and they try it, and they think about things, and they think they can attract things. But if you're not congruent with the law of vibration, for example, the law of attraction is not going to work for you. What is the law of vibration? We just went over that. Is you have to send out the proper vibe to send out the message to the universe, and you have to be in the proper frequency in order to accept the input from the universe. But if you're not, it's not going to work for you. The law of correspondence says before you can change what's happening on the outside, you first have to change your inside. Just as you changed from being a Star Wars kid to a basketball guy to hopefully a collegian, hopefully to a father, to a husband. Excuse me, let's put that the other way around. To a husband, to a father, all right? And your total mindset changes, and it changes the way you look at things. It changes the outside world. When you were first born, Eli, and we brought you home from the hospital, and your mom said, "Here, hold your son." I'm there and I'm holding my son, and I'm thinking like, he's so little, he's so tiny, he's so fragile. What if I drop him? Then the first time I had to change a diaper. Panic time. But you know what? You start to adjust. When your inner self changes, when you change your identity from just being a husband to being a father, to being a dad, that changes everything. It changes your entire outlook. So here's my point. Right now, I'm, let's just say, a senior, all right? And when I was younger, I was a high school basketball player, a college basketball player, a coach. Do you know that I still consider myself in my innermost thoughts to be an athlete? Now, you've played some basketball with me recently, Eli, and you may tend to disagree with that concept. But what I tell myself is that I'm an athlete. And to me, that's a good thing. The point is, you carry these things from when you're younger until you're older, unless you make a positive change, unless you change your paradigm, unless you change the angle at the way you look at things. The difference between becoming a boyfriend to a fiance to a husband to a dad. Here's the point. If you're not happy with what you see in the mirror, and I'm using that as, not just the looks, but I mean what you feel, how you respond to things, the results that you're getting. If you're not happy with what you see in the mirror, then the first change you have to make is the one that's in here. And in order to do that, it's important to change your paradigm, the way you look at things, to change your identity, to change your objectives. The law of correspondence says what you have in here is what you're going to see out there. And if you don't see yourself as a successful, let's say, business person, you're not going to be a successful business person. You have to see that. That's why it's so important to have that quiet thinking time in the morning, also before you retire at night, and get yourself in alignment to be your own chiropractor, to be your mental chiropractor. Too many people go through life just coasting, without thinking, without envisioning anything, and they just take life as it comes. And you know what kind of results they get? They get the results that come when you take life as it comes. And they feel that the outside external forces are the ones that are controlling them. The successful people, if you were to poll the 5%ers, you would find that virtually all of them discipline themselves to give themselves some quiet time, some quiet thinking time every single day, so that they can envision, they can plan, they can be successful. And the reason why this is like hitting home for me right now is because I was talking to a young lady that I was working with that has a couple of children, and one of them is 17, and she's having a lot of trouble with the 17-year-old. And I'm trying, she's talking to me about it. I'm trying to offer some advice, like the big shot that I am. Oh, I can solve that problem for you, okay? But the point is, when I said, do you give yourself any kind of thinking time in the morning or in the evenings? I don't have time. Well, if you tell yourself you don't have time, you don't have time. It's the same thing as when you see somebody that's, shall we say, rather hefty, and they say to themselves, well, it's not my fault. I'm a big bone person. Your life is the story that you tell yourself. If you want to change your life, You must change your story. And that starts with the inner workings of what goes on between your ears. That's the key thing. You have to start there, because the outside is not going to change until you change the inside. That's the law of correspondence. And because we will never end a meeting on a philosophical note, why don't we all get out there and charge? I'm Eli's dad.